Welcome back. Obviously our 69 Chevelle up in the air, about to do some really cool steering upgrades. And this car literally was a perfect candidate for that type of stuff because as you can tell, he's got some beefy suspension upgrades already. Has some nice coilovers, big, huge, thick sway bar. This thing was ready to rumble. Gets the steering in here, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's got a lot of the old steering in there, so it's going to be a little bit sloppy. And, you know, with some of the other upgrades, it's a little behind the times.
Yeah, this drag link stuff ain't it. Now tell us how we centered this up, Kev.
Yeah, well, we're going to drop all the drag link, all the tie rod stuff out. We're going to put new parts in. Well, that's going to determine sort of the toe in, toe out positions of the tires. Well, we want to give ourselves a mark to work to at least get it close.
Right.
So mark the center line here, then we can measure out to the tire, kind of mark the tire, and we're measuring from the center of the car out to this tread. What that's going to do, once we bolt it back up, we can adjust our tie rods, get it close enough to get down and get in alignment.
Yeah, you don't want to be at the alignment shop tearing your tires up to get there.
All right, we got our lines off. Let's see, we've got our tie rods loose. Let me get this other sway bar mount here, if I can get up in there. There we go.
And we're going to drop this sway bar out of the way. And hopefully with just a couple more bolts, we'll be able to drop this old drag link suspension right out and show you a side-by-side comparison. All right, buddy, you're gonna have to help me with this gearbox. This is a big boy.
All right. Separate.
Oh, yeah. All right, so now we've laid out some 1969 technology and some brand new technology. And I gotta tell you, start with this this gearbox, and you can see this is an old recirculating ball and a worm gear, kind of sloppy, kind of slow, but attached here to the center link or drag link, this attached to the frame, and these tie rod ends basically attached to the tire. Now, the problem with this is all these pivot points were room for slack, room for failure, and you didn't get any road feedback, you know? It's just sloppy, like driving a big lazy board down the road. Just
that was cool back in the day, right? I don't want to know what's going on, right? I just want to hang out, right?
Yeah.
Well, us performance guys, we like that feel. We like that feedback.
Yeah.
Well, this style of box, it doesn't backdrive, which means, you know, as you're turning your tires, you got road force trying to straighten them back out. You got lots of things going on, inputs. Well, it doesn't backdrive up through that shaft into your wheel, so you really don't know what's going on. You're just turning your wheel, stuff's happening, whatever. Well, a rack and pinion like this one from Unisteer, it's great. It gives you that feedback, it gives you that performance feel, so when you're out there, you're having fun and you're dialing it in.
Especially when you're really pushing on the car. Another thing they did was do a lot of stuff to help prevent that bump steer. Anybody with a truck knows when you hit a pothole with big tires, and all of a sudden you're jumping over in the left lane, spilling your coffee, like what?
Yep. It's these points right here on the tie rods that are really critical. Where they are in space and 3D keeps that from happening, right? Also things like Ackerman. So when you're going around a tight turn versus a big kind of lazy turn, the angle between those wheels is actually changing a little bit based on how you set all this stuff up.
Another way they improved it was just in ratio, in the gearbox alone. Remember back in the day, you're driving your 1960 car and you see a left-hand turn, an 1/8 mile up, you're turning this way, and you're turning this way to get it to go around the corner. Well, they're tightening up a lot of these ratios.
Well, who wants to go around an autocross or, you know, an off-ramp, and you're turning like 10 times each way, right? You get a little sweaty that way.
Yeah, exactly.
So a 14:1 ratio really makes things a little bit quicker, a little bit faster, and a whole lot more fun. Now a kit like this is great because it bolts right into factory location. There's no welding, no drilling. Comes with everything like a modern power steering pump, your double D shaft, all your U-joints. In a couple hours, you're ready to go carve up the road.
It's literally modern technology, bolt-on and available for your old school hot rods.
Yeah, so let's get this Unisteer rack up in there. We still got to pull the old pump, get the new one in, so let's get back on it.
All right. All right, next couple steps on our 69 Chevelle project. I want to remove the alternator. The power steering pump is kind of buried down in here, so I'll get the alternator out of the way, take these brackets out of the way, so I can get our new Unisteer pump in here. Also, if you look up here on the steering shaft, some carriage bolts, so I'll get that from underneath, get that old steering shaft out, so we can make way for the new parts. Let's get this new rack of pinion in here. Let's see. I'm gonna get your end.
Oh, look at that.
Sweet.
You know what, sometimes we make it look a little too easy around here.
Like a glove?
I like to think it's because we got skills.
Absolutely not, just sheer luck.
So you got your little steering shaft support bracket.
Get this bolted in, bud.
Let you get those nuts started.
And then I'll come over and help you
I
on
can
this.
take away some
All right.
of my strain.
Got it.
Look at that, one-handed there, Willie. Let's see. Oh, I found
Bingo.
one. Get the other guy in here. Oh, swiggle that, and all right. Run a couple nuts on these support brackets here. Get that sucker pulled in tight. We can start hooking up our ends.
Dude, that just looks awesome.
You want to make sure that when you put this guy up in here, your tie rods are under your sway bar.